Thanks for tuning in to the Boyfriend Chronicles. This series is going to be filled with horror stories from ex-boyfriends, dates. So hopefully by me telling my stories, it'll help you ladies and fellas to not make the same mistakes that I did. I don't know where to start, so I guess I'll start from the beginning. First, first boyfriend I've ever had, um, all through high school, ninth, 10th, like we were so close and cool. And we're still friends to this day, which is like really cool. He's like a really good friend of mine still, but I known him ever since I was like 12 or 13. And when we got into high school, we started like actually dating like really heavy. And we didn't stay together. Of course, like we went through things like that teens go through, like really serious issues. So, and we've gotten through it. So I think that's why we're so close today. But I went my way, he went his way. He's got a kid now, and we still talk. And like he's still a really good friend of mine. Time that we broke up, which was like, I don't know, the end of 10th grade, I would say, beginning into 11th. We had been talking, we'd known each other ever since we were 12 years old. And, you know, people just grow old of each other. So, you know how boys do, they start doing other stuff or whatever with other people and just showing interest in other people. So we kind of like went our separate ways. So then I started dating another guy that went to my high school, and I was not, it was not good. It was not the best thing for me. I think that the only reason why I did date him is because he had a really dope car. And that is the only thing I can think of right now. So he was dating back and forth this girl who lived down the street from me. And he would go to my house, and then he would go drive like a block away and go to her house. And then he would come to my house, and then he would say he had to go. Then he would go, and then I would be walking around like my neighborhood, and I would see his car parked at her house. And I was so young and dumb and stupid. Like I didn't even, I mean, I cared, but it's like when somebody continuously does something, like they're not going to stop doing it. And it just escalated. It was a competition. Like it was so a competition with him. Like, I remember this one time he let me drive his car. So I was so like happy, like, oh my gosh, he really likes me because he's letting me drive his car. So of course I drove down the street past his other girlfriend's house or whatever, and she was so mad because I was driving his car. And she asked him if she can drive his car, and he said no. So that was like a big thing, and that just started a snowball effect that just also spiraled out of control. Girls were following me around the school, trying to jump me, prank calling my house, prank calling my phone, following me places. They keyed my car in the school parking lot. They keyed bitch like right on the side of my new car. All because of him. And now that I think about it, like he was definitely not worth the trouble at all. This one time in particular, it was the end of my 11th grade year and the end of his 12th grade year. And he asked me to go to prom with him. And I was so like ecstatic, like, oh my gosh, like he really likes me. This is his like senior prom and he wants me to go with him. I was so happy and so excited. And like I went and I saved up my money. I bought my own dress, and I paid to get my own hair done. I did everything myself. I was so excited. So when the day came around for prom, it was starting to get near. I found out that he was like messing around with my best friend, and he was messing around with one of her friends. So plus the girl that lived down the street. So that's what, 4 of us. I told him that I didn't want to go to prom with him anymore, and it was like this big deal because prom was coming up and stuff was already bought and da 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 da. So I ended up going anyway. The day came around for prom, and he like rented some like Cadillac or something like that. So we were all going to meet up with everybody and go out to eat. And we went to Red Lobster. Now, as someone's prom date, you would think that they would sit by the person and actually interact with them. No, he sat by his friend's cousin, who he was also messing around with. And they sat down together the entire night. After all that was done, we went to the actual prom, and the entire time we were there, like, he was on the phone, and we did not interact the entire prom at all. Basically, the entire thing was a waste of my time, because when I was in school, I didn't have any friends. I was really awkward. I was socially awkward. I was very, very, very shy. So you can imagine how I felt at that age, being in a room full of people who hated me, some who tried to fight me, and it was just a very uncomfortable situation. So we leave prom and we go to the post-prom, which is like, they have this little thing at the bowling alley. So I'll say we were there for like 30 minutes, and then he said he was ready to go home. So I'm like, why do you want to go home? We just got here. He said he was tired and that he was ready to go home. So I was like, okay, whatever. So he dropped me off. A couple days later at school, there was a guy who asked me, he was like, why didn't you go to the after party? And I was like, what after party? And then he was like, yeah, so-and-so was there, but he was there with her. And I was like, the girl that was that lives down the street from me. So I'm just like, he dropped me off and went down the street and got this chick because she couldn't go to prom because she was on social probation for bad grades. So he went around the block and got her and took her to like an after party and dropped me off at home. So after that, I was so like done. Like, that hurt me so bad. Like, because I really liked him, and it just really hurt me. No, I don't talk to him at all now. I don't know why at that age I let him take advantage of my emotions, of my time, you know, just inconsiderate people who don't care about other people's feelings. And I know now in my adulthood, like looking back on that situation, I am not the person that I am today at all. I was very shy, very timid, very just not a person that would stick up for themselves. And that boy walked all over me. If I could go back, what I would do is just stick up for myself more, speak up, and not be afraid to express my feelings, or not be afraid to stand up for what's right and the respect for myself that I deserved. Even though I was young, it doesn't matter what age you are, everybody deserves an amount of respect. And respect people's time and emotions and feelings and how they would feel about certain things. And I definitely, if I could go back, I definitely would have, you know, told him how I felt. What I would want girls and guys to take away from this particular story is to stand up for yourself, respect yourself. If you don't respect yourself, then nobody else will respect you. Know the signs, know when you are getting taken advantage of, know when somebody is treating you like they don't care about you. Just stand up for yourself and just know what's right.